This is my room. Hi, it's me. Fuck shit. Hope you can hear me because I don't plan on talking very loud. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I have no plans. Just know it's about time for me to go to bed. It's like 4 a.m. right now. Doesn't sound like 4 a.m. outside. That's because I'm in Atlanta. It's about 4 a.m. right now. And, yeah. I'm not ready to go to sleep yet, you know what I'm saying? I simultaneously don't feel like being productive. Like in a traditional sense. So, we're gonna produce some chemicals in my brain while I produce some words for this camera. And it's gonna produce a video. It's like a diary entry. Might be cool to write shit, but it's cool to say it too. I'm sitting on my bed right now. Open up the window. Got my shorts on. Been making music. Trying to get new listeners. New people hip to my music. New people hip to fuck shit. Especially with the new music I'm making. I think it's a lot more accessible than my old music. And better. Not that accessibility means being good, but it's better while simultaneously being more accessible. Which I think is dope. And I just think like right now my music is good, so I kinda wanna really have people get tuned in. I think tomorrow I'm gonna release Dizzy Me. Sunday. I feel like Dizzy Me sounds like a Sunday song. Dizzy, 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 dizzy me. I want to do more stuff where I sing. I play guitar and stuff. You know? Play the guitar. Someone asked me why I had this. And in the moment, I was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it and I was like, why do I have it? And I think it does have a symbolic meaning that I didn't even really catch before. And that is my demon, which is a particular illness that I have. Also, it's kind of like a superpower. And I think one of my superpowers is music. I could go deeper, but I'm not going to. That was enough said. So, yeah. I don't know who watches my YouTube. Sometimes I really want to say vulnerable things on here because I'm like, these video diaries, sometimes it's like the only venting and talking to that I have, right? But like, I don't be wanting to say anything. It's gonna be like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make anyone think a certain type of way. Not even think a certain type of way. I'm scared of people hearing me be vulnerable, which is why I struggled with releasing music and even making music for a long time, because real vulnerability is scary as fuck, man. And it's kind of scary to myself too, because there's certain things that, well, I like to think I like am very in tune and stuff. There's certain things I don't even acknowledge to myself unless I say them out loud. you know? And so, yeah. My phone's at 20%. My phone is perpetually low on battery. I make it last. That's what I do. I kind of like that. It's kind of like my life. Yeah. I'm really excited though for everything moving forward and for life moving forward and for my music moving forward. And for all the new people listening now, there's a few. For all the new people who are gonna be listening later too, you know, like I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And I'm really like, man, I can't wait to change the world. I want to change things. I'm thinking about my name. Interviews and stuff. I'll go on like, my name is fuck shit. How are you gonna market with someone named fuck shit? Either I change marketing, or they're gonna call me expletive. I'm gonna just be expletive, you know, when people need to refer to me in a professional setting. But I'd rather be there. I changed the landscape of marketing as a whole. Wouldn't that be great? Because I've always been like, yo, why can't people just say curse words? You know, that was like growing up. That's why I fuck. You know, the story of fuck shit comes from I was actually on mushrooms in New Orleans when I really came up with the idea of fuck as a brand and like a collective. Fuck, just PHUK was it at first. Fuck shit wasn't my name. I was gonna make it into like a group, not a group, a collective, like a creative collective, but not just like a music collective, just an entire creative collective, like art, clothes, music, design, like all types of shit, even architecture, you know. But that fell through because I never put any work into it, because it was just an idea that like I got really grand on. Like I thought it was a grand idea that I had for a little second, and I never followed it through. But I got all these people in the group and everything. Like I had been obsessed with the word fuck for like the whole summer. Before that, I got it tattooed on my leg and everything, right? Just F-U-C-K though, with an exclamation point in my own handwriting, upside down. But yeah. And I wanted to release music, solo music, for the first time in a really long time. And I was gonna put it on SoundCloud, like in like not super long, like 6-7 months, maybe 8 perhaps. And I was like, man, I need a new name, because I didn't want to be Dizzy anymore. And I kept thinking, and I was like, fuck. Like, fuck doesn't sound like a one person. I was like, I would go by fuck, but it just doesn't sound like a singular person. And I was thinking, I was just like, bro, fuck shit. Fuck shit is kind of hard. That's literally what I thought. I was just like, fuck shit is kind of hard, bro. Like, maybe I could go by fuck shit, you know, it's like one word, you know? And I didn't know, like I'd seen mid-90s before, and I actually like really loved that movie, but I completely forgot about it. I forgot that dude's name was fuck shit. So, and no one told me. So I watched mid-90s like a few months later, and I was like, oh my God, fuck shit. It was in the summer, so it was like 6 months after that, you know? And I thought that was cool. But yeah, that's how that came to be. Now fuck shit evolves. We had Garbage Delta 9. That was like a story, kind of. It was somewhat of a narrative, but it was also very, just like, very it really said where my mind was at the time, like where I was mentally, how I felt about the world. I feel like, but like in like an emotional way, not in like into like I'm thinking about the world and this is what's going on, but like in a like these are my feelings about how I'm interacting with the world, right? Then shortcake, and I was like, oh man, I got C. Like it started getting me thinking, but I was thinking less about the world and more about myself. If that makes sense. Very introspective and tried to understand myself. Because how are you gonna understand the world if you don't understand yourself? You know, you gotta understand your place in the world. Like, and so now I think I've moved on to my understanding of the world in my music, and that's what's reflected in it, as well as everything else that was there before. You know, it's like damn near like I learned how to incorporate my writing into different things, and like you gotta start from somewhere, right? Like you always gonna start. Okay, how you make a good bar? Well, first you gotta really get to like the deepest part you can get to. I feel like in your mind. What do you have the most material to work with in there, right? Like where you got that? You know, for some people, it's already gonna be like, okay, I'm thinking about like racism or fucking just vibes, you know. Some people it's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna be thinking about my emotions because that's where I have the most. That's where it was for me. Like I'm like I have the most to say on that front, honestly, because that's the only thing I really know. Like, what do you really know other than like what's going on in here? Nothing, right? So all you can really do is observe things and like draw conclusions, you know. But you never know if anything's actually right. Really, really. You just know it like, that makes more sense than that. This probably has the higher probability of being right. You know, that's why I think it's kind of stupid to not believe in God. Not like stupid, but like when people be arguing like, wow, like it's kind of stupid that you believe that this nigga in the sky exists. I'm like, all right, we all exist. That's kind of stupid. Like the Big Bang is just as stupid as God. You telling me there was just some atoms and they did all this shit? All right. Like, and I know we have all this evidence. All right, but like, there's still things that happen that can't be explained. I feel like, you know. And people have had this idea of God forever and stuff, and maybe it's something we came up with to make ourselves feel better about our existence. Or maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's things that we don't understand because, yeah, not everything that we see is everything that's there. Not everything tangible. Like, do we really think that everything tangible is everything that's there? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's on some like separate your mind from your body shit. You know? And like, if you had a different face, would you still be you? Like, you know, think about it. Your consciousness, like if you type shit. But it's also on some there's this thing where it's basically, all right, let's say someone's like, yo, accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. And I'm not saying you should. I'm not even saying I necessarily have accepted Jesus. I think I'm on a journey of really figuring out what I want to do with that. But if you think about it, all right, let's say you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and you're right. There's heaven and all that. Now, let's say you're wrong. There's heaven and all that. What happens? Nothing. There's not heaven, right? Like, let's say, okay, my fault. Let's say you're wrong. There's no heaven. All right. You die. Nothing happens. Blah, blah, blah. You're good. Like, there's really no consequence. Let's say you're wrong and you don't accept Jesus. Let's say you're like, I don't accept Jesus. That shit's bullshit. And it ends up not being bullshit. And just because you didn't accept Jesus, now you're like in hell. I'm not saying you should accept Jesus, but it's just, I'm not saying anyone should. Like, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. But it's like, there's certain arguments that it's like, I'm like, I mean, like, if you think about it, sometimes it's smarter to do this. You know, I don't know. Like, people always want to make an argument as to why their worldview is the correct one. You know, and I'm like, bro, all of our worldviews are part of, like, a larger reality. even ones that are largely skewed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that reality just is the world. You know? Like, let's think about someone who's like, oh, like, I hate black people, all this stuff. They're so ratchet, they're so ghetto, look at all this stuff that's happening. All right, let's think about, that's a perspective that I don't agree with. But it is part of a larger story and a larger picture of even just how, all right, yeah, there's like roots of shit, like racism, you know, it's generational, but it's also societal in a way that, like, the media, people are making jokes about the CIA, like, you know, making the media like super ghetto and stuff, and like that's the CIA, they're trying to bring black people down. I mean, they gave us crack. Like, it's probably the same thing that they're doing now, in my opinion. Like, I do think that it's like it was all orchestrated by white people. White people are at the top of most of this. White people own like most of this entertainment bullshit. I think. I could be wrong, but like, you know, and it's like, all right, every black creative, like, oh, they're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that. These black women we see like shaking ass and throwing booty on these songs and not really rapping about shit. These white men we see like fucking shooting each other and like, you know, posing with guns and shit, and, you know, like all that shit, right? All of that happens because they get paid more to do that. Because the easiest way for a white person to interact with black culture and interact with a black person, you know, is if it already supports their worldview, essentially, right? So it's like, if you look at a lot of these things, it's like these are stereotypes. These are damn near racist caricatures of black people that are a lot of the black people that are like entertainers, right, in the media. And what was I saying? Yeah, these are like caricatures and shit. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Yo, I had a point to that though. Let me think. Oh yeah, and that's not a coincidence, because white people will interact with that more than they will, like, okay, a black person come out and be like intelligent, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all white people, but like, that's something a lot of people enjoy. Like, I enjoy that stuff sometimes, right? Like, it's not like terrible art. There's like no place in the world for that. But for that to be like the main image of black people, no, that's pretty messed up. But the reason that is because it supports a worldview that was already established. And white people are comfortable buying into that. Because it's uncomfortable to buy into like what it really means to be black. You know what I'm saying? Like real black culture. You know, really, really get into that shit. Like, that's uncomfortable. Because of how it's, first of all, like intertwined with white culture, but also because you have to force to yourself to admit, if you're white, I am not better than this person. You know? I mean, a lot of people, oh, like, I know that, I'll admit that, but it's like, subconsciously, you still have these biases because you're treated that way, even, you know, like you're better. Even there, you know, like, people have all these subconscious biases, and, you know, like, it transcends all types of cultures for a bunch of different reasons, and like all of them, you know. But like in America, like, that's kind of just how I see it. That probably was a very, sorry, I have ADHD, you know. I feel like my thoughts are like one of them boards, like where they put up like a bunch of like pins and like put a fucking wire on it and like, you know, it goes on. I feel like that's what it looks like. It's not super linear, you know. It's like solving a case. It's like a detective board. All right, we gotta figure out and get to the center of this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a straight line or anything. You know, it's namely like a puzzle trying to figure out what the fuck I'm trying to say. But like what I'm trying to say. Because I know what I'm trying to say. Like I know the thoughts I'm trying to get out. It's like I'm just trying to, how do I say this in a way that's like easy to understand and it makes sense? You know? Yeah. Alright. Peace.